Am I the asshole for telling my best friend I'm not spending money on her wedding? Hi, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Don't Go Broke Trying. I am your host, Reni, and today we have a mini-sode, which is our Coin Fashions episode. If you are new here and you maybe haven't listened to any episodes, on these episodes, we basically answer your questions, and we also take some questions from Reddit as well based on the topic that we had in the previous video. So in the previous video, I actually spoke to Temi, and we spoke all about weddings and how to not go broke trying to have a wedding. So today, Temi and I are going to answer all of your questions about it. Well, mostly Temi because I'm just here, but yeah, thank you, Temi, for being here.
Thank you for having me.
If you want to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Temi. I'm a wedding planner. I'm the creative director of Tiantoner Event Connoisseurs. I'm based in Oakville, Ontario, but I plan weddings anywhere weddings take place.
Perfect. And she's very knowledgeable. So make sure you listen to last week's episodes because you will learn a lot about how to not go broke trying to have a wedding. I learned so many gems and I'm like, let me write all of this down. It'll be very helpful in the future. Maybe. Who knows? Maybe.
Sure.
So thank you again for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Are you ready to answer some questions?
Yes.
Okay, let's get into it. And everyone, if you want your question answered on a future episode, it can be anything money related. So of course, these questions are money and wedding related, but you can have any money question about any topic. So if you want us to answer it, make sure you email me at dgbt@renitheresource.com and we will make sure to answer your question. So let's get into the first coin fashion. Okay, this is from the r/wedding planning subreddit, and it goes like this. Wedding budget, $10,000, doable or no? So my fiance and I want a memorable day, but don't want a lot of the typical wedding things that are included in a budget breakdown, nor are we able to find any current breakdowns or articles that even closely resemble what we want. We had a planner quote us at $8,500. Here's what we could care less about that's in the typical wedding cost breakdown. So these are things that they don't want. 1, videographer. 2, dress. 3, DJ or band. 4, bridal bouquet. 5, cocktail hour or champagne toast. And 6, a wedding party. So no bridesmaids and no groomsmen. What we do want is a venue with catering and food, rings, about 40 guests, a cake, and alcohol. I don't know if we were thinking of an open bar for an hour or 2 or a couple of free drink vouchers for each guest and then a cash bar. I don't know if that's even a thing. And 6, some decorations. Do you have any suggestions on accomplishing this? If the planner is quoting $8,500, do you think the wedding that I have described above can be done for under $10,000?
Right. When it's a little bit I'm not quite sure. The wedding planner is quoting $8,000 for their fee or the.
I think the wedding planner is quoting $8,500 for everything. So I'm not really sure why they're asking.
Right, because it's under 10,000. But a 10,000 budget for 40 guests is doable because they've mentioned like the things that they don't care about, and those things can take a huge cut of their budget. So yes, I definitely, depending on where they live as well, and depending on where they want to have that. So if you live in the GTA and you want you're having a 40 guest wedding and you want to, spend a lot of money on food, it depends on the venue.
Yeah.
Like it's doable. Okay. For sure.
And are there ways for us to save money? So you said it depends on the venue. So like choosing a nice banquet hall versus a restaurant or a backyard? Yes. Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And like the location as well.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
so if
true.
you're in Toronto, then may not necessarily be doable. Even for your 40 guests, you'll be so surprised.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The venues that would charge you $200 plus HST plus 15% service fee. So that
per person?
Yeah, per person.
Okay, so how does that work? So we are charged per person who attends our wedding?
Yes.
And it's
So regardless of whether you're the venue is catering for the food, most banquet halls and hotels will charge you per head.
oh wow.
So regardless of if you're bringing outside catering, as we call it, they will still charge because it's a service fee. They're providing you the stuff, they're providing you the crockery, they're providing
Okay.
you the glassware, and they will, be doing the tidying up. So they will charge you per head.
Wow.
Yes.
And if you were to have them cater the food as well, would they charge you more? So they would charge you more per head?
Yes.
Oh wow.
Yes. Yeah, because there's the cost of the food and the preparation.
So $200, is that an average price or then Toronto?
No, it's not an average price, but there are like an average price in the Toronto area is probably 85 to 90, considering inflation now as well.
Okay, so let's say $90 per person, and they have 40 people, but then they don't want a lot of the major things. Like they don't want a videographer, which I think is a big chunk of the budget.
It is.
They don't want to. She doesn't want to dress,
right?
Or a DJ or a band. So I think a lot of the big costs are covered,
for sure.
right?
So it is doable.
Okay,
it's doable. Okay, yeah, for sure.
Nice. Have you done any $10,000 weddings here?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah. Are they COVID weddings or?
Yeah, COVID weddings.
Okay,
yeah.
So it's a little easier. Yes. So I guess with keeping the guest count small, obviously reduce your costs significantly.
Yeah, and also the meal as well, like the meal type. Are you fixated on having a 4-course meal? That's going to cost you more.
Good point.
Do you want to have plated service? That's going to cost you more. Are you okay with buffet style? That's going to cost you less. So do you, a lot of people feel cultural weddings, you want to have your ethnic food. It doesn't save you money because, especially if you're fixated on a venue, because they, like I said, that most banquet halls will charge you per head. But you can also go to a hall that they're my term, a DIY venue. Okay. So they will let you bring in your own food, bring in your own drink, but it's not like, you won't necessarily get like the whistles and the bells, like the chandeliers and all that. So I check and balance.
Yeah, it's all about what is your priority, right?
Yes.
Interesting. Okay. For clarification, because you asked about the planner quote, so somebody else said, I'm confused by the planner quote of $8,500. The planner quotes you $8,500 for a wedding or for their services.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That was what I was trying to understand as well.
So then the original poster said, yeah, we thought this was a tad bit high based on all our research, but the planner seemed really nice and willing to go all out. He doesn't get a commission from the vendors and doesn't really adjust the price based on hours of work or the size of the wedding. It's more equivalent to a grading curve, I guess. He has his 4 employees log their hours. Okay, so the $8,500, I think, is
the planner's fee.
The planner's fee.
So then that's not the planner for them.
Then that's not doable at all.
No, not at all.
Yeah,
not
and okay, so I know you are a planner, so maybe you're biased, but do you think a 40-person very casual wedding can be done without a planner? Is that?
Yes, it can.
Yeah. Maybe hire a day of coordinator or a month of coordinator or something like that?
Yeah, you can. Okay. For sure.
Okay, yeah. That $8,500 seems very expensive for this. Okay.
But maybe they're in California. Who knows?
Yeah, we don't know where they are. Yeah. That's very true. Okay. Next confession. My 25 male relationship is damaged over wedding finances and planning with my fiancé, 26 female. I have been with my fiancé for 7 years. I proposed in fall 2019, and our relationship at the time was healthy and stable. 2020 was a year like no other, and I did not initiate planning any wedding for the entire year. On January 1st, 2021, I was presented with an ultimatum, which was we needed to be legally married by December 31st, and if we weren't by that deadline, then the relationship was over because I'm wasting her time. I would have preferred to set a goal time frame without that caveat, but I agreed to work towards something. We began planning, and she stated that she did not want a wedding of any sort due to her view that it is a waste of money, and that money can support the purchase of a home. And that because my family hasn't been the nicest to her previously, she would prefer to not have them around on the big day. I knew this was going to be an issue with my family, and I rejected the offer and tried to negotiate something on a small scale. I was met with ultimatums. Either we do a courthouse with just us, or I'm leaving the relationship. I folded and agreed to the courthouse. A few months go by with multiple proposals, and it's July, and she shares that we can have a small gathering after the courthouse with up to 28 people, which would be split 14 people on her side and 14 people on my side. I shared the news with family, and they were discontent with the small amount and begged for something to accommodate more people. She disagreed and kept reminding me of the ultimatum. After seeing the toll it was taking on me from having my family threaten to not attend altogether, disown, not accept the marriage, etc., she agreed to having a wedding reception with the note that I would need to pay for it, all of it, and that she would not contribute to it financially since she never wanted it. I agreed and shared a $30,000 budget, and for it to be in the first 3 months of 2022 because there was no way that we could meet the deadline of 2021 with such short notice. She began planning and is choosing extravagant options such as drapes, floor wraps, and non-essentials, and recently shared the estimated total is $39,000, well over our $30,000 budget. I asked to cut back on non-essentials to meet the budget and was told that these were non-negotiable. I asked if she can contribute the 9K and was told no. Because this was much higher than I financially planned for, I then asked her for additional time to save the money and we would have to push the wedding day out, and was told there is no time that can be given, and if it doesn't happen on that date, then our relationship is over. What would you advise in this scenario? I can gather the $9,000 by the deadline, but I would prefer to stick to the budget. Okay, that was a lot going on, but I know you said you are you kind of act like a therapist to the couple sometimes. So I want to know
Right.
what you would advise in this
I
situation
would advise not to go ahead
with the wedding.
with the wedding.
Yeah.
Because there's life after the wedding.
Mm-hmm.
Like the wedding is a party,
Exactly.
and I see red flags all over.
A lot.
So they might want to reconsider, maybe give each other a break,
Mm-hmm.
and then see how it goes. I wouldn't want to be a planner. I wouldn't want to be the wedding planner,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't want to be the wedding officiant as well. No.
You wouldn't feel comfortable marrying them.
I'm very passionate about weddings, and I'm not just passionate about weddings, I'm passionate about the marriage. I love seeing my couples. A lot of my couples I stay in touch with. We have group chats that we never delete.
Mm-hmm.
I celebrate my couples' birthdays, and when they have children, I'm that. I remember posting recently that, I've become a wedding planner grandmother because one of my, two of my couples had babies. So no, please do not go ahead with that wedding.
Yeah,
please
I'm
don't.
with you. I feel like anyone who gives you ultimatums like this, probably
yeah,
a red flag,
yeah.
Did you see the show, The Ultimatum? Did you see that? Okay, so it's a Netflix show where essentially a couple would come on the show and one party was giving the other party an ultimatum,
Right.
and saying that you either marry me by this date or we are done. But the thing about the show was they actually brought the other couples that were there. Their partner actually dated the other people,
Right.
so that they could see what they were missing with their partner.
Right.
It was all very messy, and honestly, I was like, this is the dumbest show that I've ever seen before.
Yeah.
So I really think that if you have to give your partner an ultimatum like this, that's a sign that you should not be with them.
I totally agree.
Yeah, it's especially is going over budget by this much. Is it pretty common?
It's common.
Okay,
but it's an agreement between the two of you, not one person saying, and the guest count shouldn't be from just one person. It should be a discussion between the two of you, and obviously with your families as well. There will be a compromise to reach. I mean, a lot of the times it's usually the bride's family that will have more guests because traditionally the bride's family hosted the wedding reception, but in this day and age, both parents will, split it with the couple and all that. So too many ultimatums,
too many red flags here. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I don't know if she respects him or if I feel like maybe they should invest in couples counseling rather than
pre-marriage counseling for sure.
Immediately. Yeah, I would say after the first ultimatum, I would have been like, sorry,
for sure.
We need to.
No.
There's no compromise in this relationship.
No.
Yeah. Okay. Next coin fashion. Am I the asshole for telling my best friend I'm not spending money on her wedding? I, 23, and my best friend, 22, have known each other since kindergarten and have been friends ever since. Let's call her Ria. Recently, Ria got engaged and asked me to be her maid of honor, which I obviously accepted. I was so excited for her and I really took my role seriously. I was helping her around literally everything I could do, and even she said I was a great help. Everything was fine until the bridal party came to the table. Now, in our culture, we don't have bridesmaids, so most of the planning of the party is left to be done by the maid of honor, and bride usually splits the cost of housing 50-50. Oh, housing for the bridal party, I guess?
Right.
Okay. We initially agreed that the party would take place in a rented weekend house or cottage for 20 people. I informed her of any reservation I made, and she was okay with it. The date was set for the 22nd of January, and this was 4 days from the day that they submitted this post. And this morning, she calls me to say that her girls expected more of the venue and don't feel comfortable celebrating in this guest house cottage. Her friends come from privileged homes who grew up mostly rich, so I sort of understood where she was coming from. I tried to give a few suggestions on how we could switch things up, but then Ria goes on to say, "Oh, I was calling to tell you that I already booked another villa that's more in their league." I asked about the cost of it and she says 900 euros. I was baffled. I don't have that kind of money and she's very well aware of that. I've been struggling financially for 2 years since I haven't been able to work due to medical complications. Only recently I got a job from home and I've been paying off my medical debts. She knows the situation I'm in and I literally told her I would have to loan money for this celebration ahead. Honestly, it felt like she backstabbed me. I told her that I'm not going to be able to cover my half of renting a villa because I'm paying for a DJ, food, drinks, decorations, cake, and gifts already. She told me to just take some out of your savings. At this point, I felt ashamed that I even have to say this, but I'm literally broke. Any savings I have went to my living costs for the past 2 years and my university tuition. I explained to her when I said that I'm broke that I literally meant I have zero money on me and that I'm barely getting by. She told me to figure it out and that I can't embarrass her like that in front of her girlfriends and family. I genuinely don't know what to do. I spent the entire day talking to her about it and trying to figure it out, but I honestly can't even afford to get a bigger loan than the one I already have that I already got for this. Last we talked, I told her I'm not spending a cent more than I already invested in this because she was well aware of my situation and everything we ordered and rented. The past 2 hours, I've been getting texts from her friends that I am a B for not wanting to make my best friend's day special. So, am I the asshole for not wanting to give more money for this wedding?
No, you're not.
Oh my
You're the
gosh.
sensible one.
What kind of friend is
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah.
this? No.
No one would want you to go broke for their wedding.
No.
No one should want you to go broke. So, no.
No. But I do feel that there's this thing where bridezillas, as I'm sure you've
Yeah.
encountered, like they want everything their way or nothing, and they tend to forget that other people have, feelings, responsibilities, financial obligations. Like I think that is a very common thing that I see.
Yeah.
Is it
But then
something
they
you
should
see?
be paying for it.
Oh,
If you want
yeah.
want to be a bridezilla, then yeah, you should be funding it.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be having your dream at other people's expense. Yes, bridesmaids. I mean, I'm of the school of thought that if you're friends with someone, you should pay for your dress. Like, I mean, that's my own personal opinion, but differs from one bride to the other. But I haven't said that if you want to have your bachelor in Miami or Las Vegas and your friends can't afford it, then why
Yeah.
does it have to be? You can revamp your living room
Yeah.
and have a Miami themed. That's compromise because your bridesmaids can't afford to go to Miami.
Yeah.
So it should be
Yeah, unless you're willing to pay for all your bridesmaids
exactly to fly them to Miami. So
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like in this situation, this person is not truly your friend, or they're just really clouded by everything from the wedding.
yes,
But like you've already explained, do not go broke trying to pay for your friend's
No,
wedding. No.
please don't.
Like it's one thing to go broke for your own wedding, but for another person's wedding.
it doesn't make sense
No.
whatsoever.
No, not at all. And I empathize because I know it's you want to help your friend, you want to be there for your friend, but
Yeah.
no, this person's not thinking about you.
Not at all. And it sounds like she's done a lot as it is.
Yeah,
So
she
what
planned the
more can
whole.
she do?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it seems like it's these external friends who are the ones who are influencing it. Like she was fine with the cottage venue
Exactly.
until her friends were like, "Ew,
Privilege.
it's not bougie enough for us, so
No.
we need something better."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would be evaluating my friendship and seeing.
For sure.
Yeah. Do you deal with bridezillas quite often? Is that a
Yes,
thing? Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. I'm going to a wedding soon and I'm a bridesmaid and she's actually paying for all of our dresses.
Oh,
Even our
nice.
hotel stay for the week is
Wow.
covered. Yeah. So I feel like I have good friends and this person's not a friend at all.
Nope.
No. Some of the comments that we have are, oh boy, that would be the last time I spoke with such an entitled lady.
Yep.
And her friends can cover their expenses themselves. It is because of their high standards that you're moving here anyways.
Right.
You're not the asshole, and drop that friend. She showed her true colors.
Yep.
Yeah. That person said it perfectly. Like, yeah. Another person said, your friend is the asshole. Pull away and don't pay for anything.
Yep.
Tell the DJ, caterer, etc. to hit up the bride for the money. Ooh.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's going to cause even more problems. But yeah, I agree. Honestly, your friend is very ungrateful to even go out of your, as you said, you like planning weddings, but it was to go out of your wedding to,
No.
someone who's not a wedding plan, to go out of their way to go plan someone else's wedding.
No.
No, it's a no for me. Next confession, wedding budget regret. Hi everyone, I was hoping to get an opinion on my current situation. I am a 26 female and getting married in my husband's home country in Latin America in 3 months. He has a large family and it was much cheaper for our guests in the US to travel there rather than vice versa. We hired a wedding planner who said that everything we wanted would be kept around $20,000. And now that we're getting final quotes, it's about to be $35,000 to $40,000, not including rings and dresses. I'm having serious regret, but there isn't anything I can do. Deposits for everything except catering and decor and furniture rental is paid. Even making significant cuts to those things, which we are definitely going to do, would leave us at $35,000. I haven't slept in days because of anxiety. We have a joint net worth of about $100K at the moment, and I hate to dig out $15,000 from our emergency funds because we are saving that money to buy a house. It feels like such a step back financially and not one I would have taken if I had been more on top of costs from the beginning. For reference, we have a joint household income of $185K. I guess I'm asking for some reassurance that from people that have gone through a similar situation of sticker shock and how you overcame it mentally. Any advice or insight would be greatly appreciated. So what are your thoughts in this situation?
It's common.
Really?
Yes.
20,000, but from 20,000 to 35 to 40?
Yeah, it's common. And the reason why I say it's common is because a lot of couples, I had mentioned it, in the last episode, are not realistic about what they want or not upfront.
Okay.
Or keep adding things along the way. So the budget will, or maybe the family adds guests because they want to invite the uncles,
nieces,
whatever,
yeah.
or or they change the venue, or the most common reason why that would happen is guest count, because when you increase your guest count, your decoration's going to go up, your food cost's going to go up, your
everything
maybe
goes
cake
up.
size is going to go up, so the per head cost is going to go up. So I'm not entirely shocked.
Oh wow.
I have seen it happen time and time again. And so that leads to being realistic with your budget up front. And your must you have 50 extra guests. It happens, I would say 99.9%.
Really? So
Yeah.
people tell you, okay, I want a 300-person wedding. And then later on, they're like, actually, we want 350 people.
Yeah. And that's because they haven't put pen to paper. They haven't spoken to their parents.
Yeah.
And, not discussed the guest count. They thinking offhead, we're going to have 200 guests. But when you put pen to paper, you actually have 250 names. Or, you think maybe out of the, and another common thing is people think, oh, the people who RSVP know.
Yeah.
No, people will not RSVP know until they RSVP know.
Yeah.
Don't just
Don't
assume
yeah.
that people will RSVP know. So think of that before you think of your venue. Don't be fixated on a venue. Don't be fixated on a photographer. Don't expect a photographer that charges 10,000 because you really want them to cover your wedding to charge you 5,000. No, they're not going to do that.
No.
Don't expect a wedding planner who is a high-end wedding planner to, because you want, I'm not going to name names, but there are, wedding planners even in the Ontario area who are high-end wedding planners. Just because you like their Instagram handle doesn't mean that they're going to plan your wedding for some, low cost or within your budget. So please don't. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is. I'm not surprised.
Wow. I was very surprised when I saw this. I was thinking, oh, the wedding planner did a bad job, but you're saying that it's oftentimes the
From
couple.
my experience, it happens all the time.
Oh, wow.
Well, 99.9% of the time.
So I guess the key thing for this person would be, well, they can't do anything anymore, but before, the key thing would be to actually write everything down. But before you tell your wedding planner, like, okay, these
sit
are the
down with your wedding planner and
yeah.
tell them that this is your budget. Honestly, people feel like asking for your budget or how much, what's the maximum. I tend not to say budget because people find it like an undermining word, like how dare you say, what's my budget. I put it in a way that what's the maximum amount you're willing to spend on your wedding. And so that way we can work our way down to say, okay, your venue, we can look at this venue, we can, those kind of things. So yeah, it's a common problem.
Wow.
Yep.
So in this situation, would you advise that they maybe, what if they like just got rid of the deposit? I mean, so they've already put deposits down for some things. What if they just said, okay, I'm just gonna lose my deposit? Is that no bad?
It depends on the contract.
Yeah,
that's another issue. People don't read the contract. I know some wedding planners out there sign contracts on behalf of the client. I don't.
Really? Do people do that?
Yeah. I do not. I don't care how small the item is or the vendor, it could be, I can't think of the lowest costing vendor in a wedding, maybe a hairstylist or whatever. I wouldn't sign the contract.
Yeah.
So even if they lose their deposit, their contract might be binding them to pay more than the deposit.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And considering they're getting married abroad as well, the law might be different in the country they're getting married. So it may not be that easy to back out.
Yeah. Wow. Do a lot of do couples that you see have budget regret? And do they typically just whatever? It's one day. Let's just spend the money.
They have regrets. They'll moan about it, but the ones that will have the biggest regrets are the ones that are not willing to compromise. Yeah, because you can't have, like I say, a haddock or tuna budget and expect, so be realistic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't have a haddock budget and expect caviar. Yeah. Okay, perfect. Another question that we have was, am I the asshole for telling my fiance she can only buy a $350 dress if I get to spend the same amount? My fiance and I are getting married in October, and I couldn't be more excited. Currently, she's unemployed because her job permanently shut down due to the lockdown, so the income comes from me and her unemployment. I make good money, so I don't care if she gets another job. I can support us. Money is a little tight lately, and because we suddenly needed to buy a new car. We haven't really spent any personal money, only money on groceries and necessities. Last night, my fiance came into our bathroom while I was shaving and looked a little nervous. She asked if she could buy a $350 wedding dress that she's been looking at for months. I kind of looked at her and asked, where would the $350 come from? She said we had a lot of money in our savings that we hadn't touched and would barely make a dent in our savings. I thought about it for a second and told her that if she gets to splurge $350 on a dress, I get to splurge $300 on whatever I want. She said she didn't think it was a splurge. It was for our wedding and I could buy what I wanted, but I could tell I hurt her feelings. I told her spending $350 on a dress was a little ridiculous, and she started crying and walked out of the bathroom quietly. When I walked into our bedroom, she was under the covers and facing away from me. We haven't talked since. I don't feel like I'm being unreasonable. So, am I the asshole?
No.
Really?
No, and I know that's controversial coming from a wedding planner, but the budget, like the situation surrounding it, it's the source of income. He's the only
True.
earner, so 350 that could be a huge dent in the total budget. So no, but having said that, they need to have a discussion about it and make a come to reason, or maybe he compromises and not have a $350 outfit and let her, if that's what will make her happy, and he's willing to do that. So it's
compromise.
Yeah.
For me, when I heard this, I was like, okay, I don't think like $350 is a lot for a dress on a regular day, but
it's not
for your wedding I think wedding dresses are thousands,
sure.
Right? Some people even send tens of thousands.
I was shocked, like 350 in 2022. Wow, that's a good deal.
That's why I was like, shouldn't
but unless she was getting like a regular dress that's white or ivory or black, whatever color she chooses.
He made an edit and he said, I never looked at how much wedding dresses are. They really are expensive, and that's a shock. I paid for a whole wedding and knew it would be expensive, but since dresses are her thing and I'm not supposed to see them, I never looked at dresses. I love my fiance and I want her to feel beautiful. I feel like a total asshole. I just assumed wedding dresses weren't that much unless they were custom made or a celebrity dress. The way we've always done things in our relationship is if I splurge on X amount of money, she gets to as well. We always have, even before she lost her job. So that was my mindset, which was not the mindset I should have had. We've talked about it. I've apologized. We're good.
Oh, nice.
I'm going to put this post on rest because I learned that I am the asshole.
Oh, that's nice of you.
I think it's all about communication.
Yeah.
But I guess, I don't know, it just seems like $350. Yeah, he should have researched, I guess. Yeah. And she probably should have, instead of just crying about it, she should have been like, do you know how much dresses really are? Typically.
Communication.
And there was actually an update. I thought you people invested in our story would like an update because it's a doozy. We were supposed to get married October 3rd of last year, but due to COVID spiking again, at least in our state, I'm scared we wouldn't be able to get married and we'll be on lockdown. So I asked her if she'd be willing to just go to the courthouse and get married. She said yes, but asked if we'd still have a wedding with all our family and friends when COVID was over. I told her no. If we went to the courthouse, it's silly for us to have a wedding, and it would get all my deposits back because they are all refundable except our venue. She said she didn't think it was silly, and having her family there, specifically her grandmother who lives in Ireland and was going to fly down for her wedding, was important to her. I told her it was stupid for us to have a wedding if we're already married, and she took that as me calling her stupid. So we got in a huge fight and it ended with her going to stay with her parents. That was a few days ago, and since then she's told me she doesn't want to marry someone who doesn't try to compromise to what we both want and who thinks his word is law. So she dumped me. So I guess I'm not getting married. Wow. That took a turn.
But I haven't said that. That has been a common trend.
Oh, really?
During the pandemic. I don't know. I've seen on Facebook Marketplace, or even not just Facebook. Sometimes it pops on your feed, especially on Facebook, where people have been selling their venue contracts.
Oh, yeah.
Selling their rings because the relationship has
failed. I guess, wow, that's really sad to hear. Last confession. Am I the asshole for not having catering at my wedding? My female 28 and my fiance, male 30, just got married 2 months ago and we had our dream wedding. Everything was perfect, and I mean everything. My parents and his parents helped us pay for a great chunk of the wedding so we would be debt-free, and we are so eternally grateful for that. The issue arose about a month and a half ago when my aunt started posting on Facebook about how disappointed she was with the whole ordeal, and a few guests sided with her. Background. My fiance and I are huge Disney fans, and we travel to Disney World as much as we can throughout the year. Disney is such an important part not only to us, but also our marriage. The issue was with our decision to not offer catering services or bar services at our wedding due to routing the money towards having a wedding that Minnie and Mickey make appearances at on our special day. The cost to have both Minnie and Mickey for a good chunk of time, 30 minutes, was almost exactly what our parents allotted for our catering budget. So we scheduled an appearance during our first dance and our wedding photos for going served food, though there were plenty of facilities at the venue where people could eat. My parents were still very supportive of us, but else is being passive aggressive about it on Facebook. So am I the asshole for not having catering at my wedding?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes, because it's an expectation at weddings. I don't know, historically,
Yeah.
catering. No, if it was clearly stated on the invitation and the guests knew what they were expecting, so, they weren't in the dark. So they would, maybe have gone out to eat before the reception, maybe between the ceremony and but if it wasn't clearly stated, then that was the expectation. It should have been clearly stated right from maybe even the save the date to the wedding invitation and the reminders to let guests know that, and then maybe the timeline that would have been put into consideration. So the wedding ceremony is close to the reception. So people are not waiting around or maybe far away from the wedding, the space, so that people can go out and eat. So that's my, my outlook on that, because it wasn't clearly stated whether the guests were expecting the catering because that's the norm for weddings, and didn't get catering because they weren't, aware of it. So then I would be upset as a wedding guest.
Yeah, I would be so upset if I went to a wedding and there was no food there.
Yeah, because they would probably have out of town guests as well who flew in, who were staying in a hotel. Yeah, so
I've been to a wedding where I had to pay for the water that was there, and the food didn't come for hours and hours and hours. So I understand how it feels to like fly to someone's wedding and then be very disappointed.
Yeah,
like I know the day is about the couple, but I feel like there's certain things that should be in your budget for like if you're gonna invite. It's like if you invite someone over to your house, at least have water, a drink for them. Of course, no one expects you to make a full spread, but like for sure, a drink would be nice. Yeah.
And the wedding day is about the couple, but it's about what your hospitality to your guests as well. So you're inviting people to spend their time and their resources to come to your event. Some of them have gone out to buy outfits, to get makeup done, to pay for a hotel. So there is an expectation then. If you're not going to meet that expectation, be very clear.
Yes.
And I always say to my couples and my clients on social events, like if you're gonna have 200 guests, please don't order food that only caters for 50. Because people want to have variety of food, and then they think, I'll just order for 50 people. No, you invited 200 guests. Every item on the buffet table should cater for the 200 guests, or don't have a spread of things. So there's expectations. So
these people are falling very short of the expectations. They actually added an edit. So to those asking if the guests were warned, we clearly outlined in the invitations that there was, but they said that there was food available at the venue. We didn't exactly spell every restaurant's menu, but it was certainly mentioned. There were also vending machines available throughout. So I think there is a Disney World. So they're saying, okay, there are restaurants around if you wanted to, or Disneyland, sorry. There are restaurants around if you want to eat, but it's just not, they didn't say at the specific, like they would have to buy the food at the different restaurants. I don't think they mentioned that.
Yeah, I think the wording should have been explicit.
Yes,
that it would be at your expense, because the people who would provide catering but not have a cash bar at weddings. So you want to make sure that your wording is not ambiguous. Like, yes, you will have to please remember to bring money or your credit card or something.
Yes.
So,
And then they added it again. For everyone saying that this is too much for 30 minutes, I want to clarify that we had Minnie and Mickey come 2 times for 30-minute sessions on 2 different days. $2,750 was the cost for one session. That is a lot of money to just spend for a Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
But I guess if that's what you want for your
Yeah.
wedding, you can have it.
Yeah.
But again, as you said, I think it should be clearly explained. Do
Mm-hmm.
you ever have couples that like are that say no food at their wedding?
Oh. No, I've not had that experience.
Yeah,
You
I don't
know,
think it's a common. I hope it's not a common thing. And
no, no,
yeah, I think especially with Nigerians, they're not gonna do that.
no,
No,
no.
because people will talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone that would want to do that. Even if it's not like a full on meal. You could have like a cocktail,
Yeah.
like, canopies, you could
Hmm.
have box, there's so many things that you can do these days,
Hmm.
innovative ways of, entertaining your guests without
Yeah.
having like, to splash out or anything. There's so many, but please have catering.
Yes, please. We're begging you. Like at least something for your guest,
Yes.
or at least clearly communicate that in your invitation. Some people may
Mm-hmm.
say they don't want to go to your wedding as a result, and that's their choice. But
Yeah.
they should go in informed and yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you so much for answering these questions for
It's a
me.
pleasure.
If someone wants to reach out to you to help them plan their wedding, how would they get in contact with you?
Right. I'm on Instagram, Toner Events Connoisseurs. My website is tiantonerevents.com.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for being here. I'll link all that in the description box and in the show notes. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. We will be back next week with another one. So make sure you tune in for that. And if you enjoyed this episode, feel free to share this on your Instagram story and tag me and Temi in your story. Thank you so much for being
Thank
here.
you for having me.
Okay, bye everyone.